Sun sitting down on a tailgate scene. Cold, warm, sweating, got the weekend clean. Click that stream on, yeah, the boys are in gear. Jackson on the mic, Lucas calling it clear. From Baton Rouge fire to the hedges in red. Chad blowing about what the coaches said. Settle on back, let the good times ride. Cause the South gets loud when the show goes live. Callers checking in from every county line. Hot takes flying like a deep ball dime. It's SEC Live, turn it up and let it roll. Lucas and Jackson got the heart and the soul. From Tuscaloosa Thunder to their Rocky Top.
There is never a dull week in the SEC whenever you have things like this happen. Whenever you have, even on down weeks like what we were supposed to have yesterday, you have dogfights until the end, you have sloppy defensive performances, and you got a whole lot more. We're going to break it all down tonight here on it, or really, well, this afternoon here on SEC Live with the Voice of College Football. Welcome on in. I am your host, as always, Lucas Hill, joined by my other co-host, Jackson Johnson of Alabama with the Voice of College Football. Jackson, good afternoon, good sir. We know we just saw you yesterday. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. Just hanging out and ready for a good time for a long time on this very fine Sunday afternoon. All right, here on Final Whistle Live on SEC the Voice of College Football. How you doing today, good buddy?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Had a great meal. Just got done with church. So, hey, it's always a good Sunday. And then we get to knock out what was get to recap a very fun Saturday that we got to see. Give you a little sneak preview to tomorrow's show for a lot that we got to cover. But let's get into the recap. Starting off with the 11 a.m., the game of the week in the SEC. Missouri going to Norman, Oklahoma, trying to spoil Oklahoma's season of a potential CFP berth. And this was a sloppy game from start to finish. You saw a lot of missed opportunities for Missouri to score. You have great plays that are negated because of penalties. It was a punt fest, and it was a ish show. So, Jackson, I want you to have the floor. What were your overall thoughts from this game?
That Isaiah Satanga the third touchdown for 87 yards was the turning point for Oklahoma. Like, that was amazing right there. Like, a humongous play for Oklahoma that changed the game.
You know, I've been saying this about Isaiah Satanga all year long. He's a game changer, and he can create the opportunities that a team like Oklahoma needs. Even when you're faltering offensively and you're not into the groove that you were at the beginning of the year, somehow, some way, they're going to find ways to make the big plays when it matters most. That's exactly what you saw this past Saturday, and that was the difference in the football game.
Yeah. I'm glad to see that there was magic being made from the Sooners yesterday, because it was like, I figured that's exactly what I expected, and this is exactly what Phil Steele was expecting in the preseason.
It's funny how things work, because I didn't believe Phil for a little while, and he was right on the money. He had them as a playoff contender and a playoff team. And I find it funny whenever we broke it down at the beginning of the year. He was really one of the only ones that was really high on Oklahoma. And then as the season progressed, I started to kind of get a little bit on the Oklahoma train. And I said, hey, man, Oklahoma has an opportunity to change a couple of these games and make it, from I projected it would be a 7-5 season. They could very easily make this a 9 or 10 win season. Very likely. So
it was so funny though, because it was like my buddy Austin and I were making a bet on Oklahoma, like after they lost to Texas, where little doggy, there we go.
Were you making a bet on, Jackson?
Oh, we were making a bet that I think Oklahoma could reach a 10-win season despite the fact that they lost to Texas, that they could still do it. But even though Mateer wasn't as healthy as earlier in the season, I thought they could still do it. Because of, number one, guys like Isaiah Satanga. Number two, the fact is that they're 100% on the red zone on offense. They always do well on the red zone on offense. Number three, that defense. My God, like that defense will chew up like a chicken nugget. I tell you what. And it was just so funny though, where it was like, oh well, they're down because they lost Texas. They're not going. It's like, yeah, they'll be fine. Oklahoma's going to be fine. How many times have we seen in the Red River rivalry throughout its history where the loser of that game is just fine in the Natty run? They're fine. I mean, Oklahoma was always going to be fine. And this Saturday showed it against the Missouri Tigers. Now, Bo Perbula came back yesterday, and I'm hoping he'll be all right against Arkansas next Saturday. But I wonder what the dog's looking for, man.
He's probably looking for a quarterback like what Missouri's going to be looking for the rest of the season. Because I didn't think Bo Perbula did bad, to your point, Jackson. The problem is that you got away from what was working for you, which was the short and underneath routes, the quick game, getting your playmakers out in space, and really letting them work. And once that Oklahoma took that away, you kind of lost your identity offensively. And to Bo Perbula's credit, I didn't think he did bad, but I didn't think he was ready to come back. I thought he should have sat out the rest of the year, let Matt Zollers take control of this offense. And I asked, what was Oklahoma's response to try and shut down Ahmad Hardy, who popped off for 300 yesterday? Well, Missouri's run game, 70 yards of total offense. And Ahmad Hardy had 20 of his 57 yards on one play. You take that away, he has 16 carries for 37 yards. Hell of a response from Oklahoma's defense and stepping up to the plate, shutting down one of the best run games in the SEC.
Well, Lucas, we just got some breaking news from Hayes Fawcett.
Oh, God.
It's on the recruiting trail for class of 2026. He's a 6'2", 220-pound linebacker from Charlotte, North Carolina, and he is flipped from Penn State to the Georgia Bulldogs. Yep.
Oh, Elijah Littlejohn?
Uh-huh.
I've heard of him before.
Oh, man. Now I'm going to be thinking about that Oodalali song from Roger Miller. Yep. I'm here, Lil John, walking through the forest, laugh at. Oh, dadgum. It's like my phone, my laptop didn't mess around. I mean, desktop didn't mess around.
No, literally. Heck of a commitment for not South Carolina, but for Georgia. Just being able to flip him. You know, this is a very, very dangerous linebacker. Can work in open space, guy that can play all over the field. He's the ideal linebacker that you kind of want. I wouldn't be surprised if Kirby tries to slim him down a little bit and try to make him a safety. I know that Vandy and Georgia have been fighting to try and get him for quite a bit, but Massive picked up for the Bulldogs. Top 20 linebacker in the nation. Number 16 overall player in the state of North Carolina. So massive get for Kirby Smart and company, building on what has already been a dominant recruiting class. But back to Missouri for a little bit. I know I've mentioned this before. I didn't think that Bo Prabula did bad. I thought Oklahoma, for what it was worth, they made adjustments and they were able to force Missouri to go to the air, and they made mistakes. They shut down the run game, and they forced a guy like Bo Prabula, which, let's just be honest, he's not 100%, under 60% completion percentage, and they forced 2 interceptions. And I think both of them led to points. No, they didn't lead to points, but they were big difference makers at the end of the game.
Oh, yeah. Well, and the fact is, like, Oklahoma has had a great time stopping the run game all season this year. That was key to victory, was put a stop to Ahmad Hardy, and you're really going to be good to go against the Missouri Tigers.
You want to talk about a clinic that we saw from run defense? Go look at Oklahoma with the number 1 defense in the nation and seeing what they've been able to do. The line on this football game was it opened at 11.5 and then shrunk down to 4.5 once they got the news about Bo Prabula. Guys, you got to take into consideration, how is he going to be whenever he gets back fully healthy, or not even fully healthy, whenever he even gets back onto the field? He's not going to be 100%. And we knew that. We knew that coming in, and we knew what was going to happen. Oklahoma had the number 1 rushing defense in the nation. Or not the nation, but the number 1 rushing defense in the SEC. That should tell you a lot about how far they've come going up against the number 1 rushing offense in the SEC.
True.
The fact that you were able to hold them to 70 yards of offense, that just tells you all you need to know about what Oklahoma is going to bring in the CFP race. So my only concern for Oklahoma is that they weren't able to take anything off of the interceptions. I think both offenses were fairly anemic. You have one big play. Both Missouri with 301 yards of offense, Oklahoma with 276. They're 6 of 16 on third down. You held Missouri to 3 of 15, though. You had 103 yards of rushing to 70. You also had 7 penalties, and you lost the turnover battle. If Isaiah Satenga is not a hell of an athlete and he goes for 87 and out the gate, then you're looking at probably a 250 to 268 ball game when it comes to time of possession. It's not going to win you a lot of football games or help you on a deep playoff run. Now, let's see what Oklahoma brings to the table against LSU. Anything goes, man. Anything goes.
They'll bring out the Genjutsu against LSU. They're going to make life miserable for the Bayou Bengals, I believe.
Anything can happen, man. You and I both know that this year is anything's going to happen. We'll get to LSU in a little bit. Kentucky and Vanderbilt. Hell of a statement by Vandy at home. Defensively, they have been struggling, being able to get off the field. What does this Vanderbilt offense do? Well, they pop off for 600 yards, and they hold Kentucky to 315 with total yards and 31 yards rushing. With 2 very good backs in Seth McGowan and Dante Dowdle, and completely shut them down throughout the entirety of this football game. What were your thoughts overall from this game, Jackson?
They're basically showing the committee, hey, we're still here too. That's what they showed right there. Because, I mean, like, we're all talking about Georgia. We're all talking about Texas A&M. We're all talking about Alabama. We're all talking about Ole Miss, Oklahoma. People are talking more about Texas than Vandy. That's the funny thing, too. And Vandy is saying, well, we're still here, too.
Mm-hmm.
And, we got to defeat these Kentucky Wildcats, smack them upside the head, and just kind of like show the committee, once again, we're still here too. And while we're at it, we got to smack Tennessee next Saturday on ESPN 2:30 Central.
And is that on the road or are they at home?
That is, I believe, a home game for Vanderbilt. Let me double check. No, that's a home. That's a home game for Tennessee. My mistake. It's in Knoxville.
It's been a while since you went on the road and beat a ranked opponent. I mean, you could say South Carolina was a good win for you, but now looking back on it, it's really not.
Oh yeah.
Who's going to come out with their hair on fire? This isn't going to be an offensive showcase.
Oh yeah.
We may very likely see close to 1,000 yards between the two. They're going to exchange blows. Tennessee has won the last 6 matchups. Vandy hasn't beaten Tennessee in Knoxville since 2017. That was the dark days of Butch Jones and Jeremy. I think Jeremy Pruitt was there.
Yeah, Pruitt sucked.
One time. The only reason why Jeremy Pruitt's noticeable is because he was a high school defensive coordinator on MTV. That was in your territory, Jackson. That was at Hoover High School.
Yep.
Shoot, you're old enough to remember that.
Yep. Back in those days.
You were like 9 or 10 whenever that show came out.
Yep. But yeah, like Vanderbilt is going to have to really make sure they come out on all cylinders next Saturday against Tennessee. And they're really going to need all kinds of magic to happen for them to get in the playoffs. Like, it doesn't hurt to have Pitt upset Miami. It doesn't hurt to hope for Utah to get upset on Black Friday by Kansas.
Right.
So they'll definitely need that.
What would you rather have right now? Would you take a 2-loss Utah or a 2-loss Vanderbilt?
That's a good question. Because it's like both these teams are really good. But right now, I would probably go by Vandy by a small edge.
Depends on strength of schedule, man. I thought Kentucky came out and hung in there for a little bit, but when you turn the football over like they did in the second half, doesn't help you, man.
No, it doesn't.
And when you can't sustain drives, that also hurts you.
As for Kentucky, they're still fighting for bowl eligibility. All they got to do is beat Louisville, and they're in.
But let me talk to you about some of these scoring possessions, because you saw a bit of everything of what Vanderbilt likes to do to teams. Yeah. And this is what they've done all year. You have a 15-play, 53-yard drive. You take 9:48 off the clock. You have quick strikes where you get big plays. Trey Richardson goes for 71 on a touchdown. You have a 7-play, 60-yard. Takes 2:46 off the clock. 3-play, 75-yard. Trey Richardson has another big touchdown. Trey Richardson was all over the field tonight. And I don't think people paid enough attention to Trey Richardson to kind of take him seriously. He pops off for 6 catches for $159 and goes for 3 scores in the first half. And he's coming off of his second straight 100-yard game. He's got 9 receptions the last 2 games, and he's popped off for 283 yards.
Yeah.
9 catches for 283. I'm going to give you some math. He's averaging 31 yards a catch.
Wow.
So you have plays like that. You have touchdown drive of 10 plays, 75 yards. Junior Sherrill gets involved. He had a 100-yard game. 10 plays, 75, 4:17 off the clock. Diego Pavia scores.
Go, Diego, go.
2 plays, 69 yards. No pun intended. 37-yard pass to Junior Sherrill. 32-yard touchdown pass to Richie Hoskins. 10 plays, 70-yard drive that takes off 7:39 off the clock. But you turn it over on downs. Not that it mattered. By the way, Pavia was done by the second quarter. Or the middle of the fourth quarter, excuse me. Pavia might have won my freak of the week in the SEC between him and that Kansas State running back that pops for almost 300 yards on the ground. It's going to be a tight one between those two. 6 total touchdowns to just the 1 interception, and you have over 500 yards by yourself. Man, oh, damn. I have a hard time believing that he won't be named Freak of the Week for this week, man. I'm just telling you. Kid had a hell of a night. Kentucky, you better find yourself an identity on offense. And if you miss the bowl game this week, I would fire Bush Hamden first thing right after the season is over with. That's just my opinion.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, Mark Stoops is going to be returning for 2026 regardless of the result, because I don't think there's going to be any more coaching firings in the SEC at this point. Like, I think that ship has sailed on whether Stoops is gone or not. Like, I think Stoops has gained that vote of confidence. Beamer is obviously going to get that vote of confidence for 2026.
Depends on how the season ends, but right now the market is not there for South Carolina to go get another head coach. So
that's why I don't see South Carolina putting their hat in the ring in the coaching carousel.
Arkansas going to DKR. I knew that this was going to be a dogfight. And for the most part, it was. But the problem is you now have a quarterback issue. We've seen the best of Taylor Green. We've seen the worst of Taylor Green. I think we saw the last of Taylor Green yesterday. I like Taylor Green. I really, really, really do. The problem is that the last 1, 2, 3, 4 games of the season, this is his stats. 2 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He's taken 9 sacks in those 6 ball games. In that stretch, too, he has had, I'll do the calculations. I think he might have lower than a 50% completion rate, to be honest with you. He has a 58% completion rate in that 4-game stretch. Mm-hmm. He is also not running the football as well as you would like for him to. He's not running it enough, in my opinion.
Oh.
He's not running this offense the way it should be run. So now you got to bring in KJ Jackson, who had a pretty decent relief effort throughout the majority of the game. But they went to the run game with guys like Mike Washington. And I thought for the most part, they did really well. Mike Washington is a very underappreciated back that has gotten very little SEC attention as one of the best backs in the SEC. That's just my opinion. I think he's outperforming guys like that had all this hype, like Trey Wisner in the preseason.
Oh, yeah.
He's had that moment. Give me your thoughts on this game, Jackson.
Another blown shot at victory, whereas Arkansas was trailing 24-20 going into halftime, and once again they come up short. Like they just come up short. Like that's been like their whole season. Is every time they get just a taste close to victory, they blow it. That's been like their whole season this year. Oh man, it's just been exhausting watching the Arkansas Razorbacks and Texas. They're trying to salvage their 2025 season at this point. I mean, because it's like they're not going to the playoffs. It's not very likely, but the bright side is they have a shot to pretty much beat all three of their rivals. I mean, you got 2 down, 1 more to go.
Oh, you went and you had it. It was 21-20 midway through the second half or the first half. You forced a 3 and out. This was the next 3 drives for Taylor Green and company. 3 and out, interception. KJ Jackson comes in.
Yeah.
What does Texas do in that span? They score 17 unanswered. They score 3 before the half ends. They get a touchdown on their first drive. They get another score off the interception. So,
oh yeah,
blown opportunities, man. Blown opportunities.
No doubt. But I will say though, I'm glad to see Texas Arkansas as a conference rivalry again, like we did in the old days of the Southwest Conference. So I mean, there is a bright side to this, but unfortunately, right now it's Texas dominating Arkansas in this rivalry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, ain't wrong, man. It's a frustrating year it's been for Arkansas. It's really been frustrating.
Well, hopefully, whoever the new coach is in Fayetteville, they'll be way better than Pittman and Petrino combined.
You'd hope. You would hope. Because Arkansas blew a lot of chances to stay in this football game.
They blew it.
But I think offensively, you should have trust in Bobby Petrino. You got to get a signal caller defensively. I think Bobby Petrino will get elevated to the head coaching position. I think he's done enough. The problem is that you still have fallen into the same trap of guys like Sam Pittman, is that you just have not been able to finish games. I don't think you were active as a whole in the last game of this or during the Notre Dame game. Other than that, you've been competitive in every single game. You've had leads in majority of the games. I don't think Arkansas gets an SEC win this year. So good luck having Missouri come to town.
Oh, Missouri's going to beat their eyes out next week.
Yeah. But on the bright side, man, I thought Texas as a whole, I think defensively they still have issues. You better be able to contain a guy like Marcel Reed that's popping off big runs left and right. That's the number one thing if you're Arkansas that you're honing in on, is that I got to keep my eyes on 10 all damn game long if it kills me. That's the only way that I see an upset occurring for a team like Texas to stay alive in the CFP race. Let's go to Tennessee and Florida in this football game. Third Saturday in October. We call it third Saturday in November. Overall thoughts from this game, Jackson?
Tennessee finally got it in Gainesville for the first time since 2003, the dark ages of the internet where there was no YouTube.
Yeah, I know we briefly talked about this last night, and this was a game that was dominated by Tennessee's rushing attack, Deshaun Bishop and Star Thomas, with big runs over and over, going up against a very depleted Florida defense, really deplored Florida team as a whole. A lot of these dudes are checked out. they're ready for a new coach or they're ready to transfer, to be honest with you. That's what's going to happen come this weekend. We've already heard some big names enter the portal from the FCS level, even two from the Division 2 and 3 level. We're going to hear some more once the FBS season ends this Saturday, because I think the portal window opens January for teams to officially enroll in other schools. But I think there's still going to be offers given out to these guys that are still in the portal. But what did you think of Florida's defense?
Terrible. It was just completely terrible.
Yeah, I thought that your defense as a whole checked out after the third drive. Once Star Thomas broke off for a massive run, once he broke off of that big run earlier in that got Tennessee all the way down to, I think, the 2-yard line, something like that, and then Tennessee punches it in later on, that's when I knew that this game was going to be over with. Once they made it a 21-0 ball game, I knew Tennessee had the foot on the gas pedal, and they were going to keep it that way. So, massive win for Josh Heupel. He needed that victory. I'll just be honest with you. He needed that victory to not necessarily save his legacy, but certainly do something that no Tennessee coach has been able to do since the waning days of the Phil Fulmer era, and that is actually knock out Florida in Gainesville. Let's go to Western Kentucky and LSU.
LS who?
This was a shit game.
Well, I mean, it is 2025 LSU, so that's what we get from them.
That was a very frustrating game to have to watch. Defensively, they dominated. 152 yards of offense from Western Kentucky. But LSU's offensive line is god-awful. You're committing pre-snap penalties, and you're not dominating.
Terrible.
Plus, you have 2 turnovers on the day that screws up drives. You have multiple opportunities to get into scoring position, and you can't convert. Where you're having to recover an onside kick to save yourself an upset. That's where LSU is right now. What were your thoughts from last night's game against Western Kentucky? Did you even watch the game, to be honest with me?
No.
I didn't think so. I watched it. My God, that was rough.
Yeah, because I was like keeping an eye on Florida, Tennessee, and Pitt, Georgia Tech, and called in on the Michigan call-in show at the same time. And then I'm looking at the current score of LSU Western Kentucky, and I just kind of sit and go, this is no surprise right there from this 2025 edition of LSU. Why am I not surprised that they're not going to beat the spread on this one? That's a terrible team. This is terrible.
It is.
They look more like a 4-win team than a 7-win team, to be honest.
You know, at points during the season, you'd think they'd have won only 4 games. You're a couple plays away from potentially blowing a game against Clemson. You're a couple plays away from blowing a lead against Florida, Arkansas, this one. That's a 4-game flip that takes you from a 7-4 season to a 3-8 or 4-7 season.
I mean, the only time they've scored like more than 25 points was against Southeast Louisiana.
Hey, don't hate on my school now.
Well, I don't mean it as mean as Southeast Louisiana. It's more of a knock on LSU because
I'll be honest, that's your only quality win because Southeastern is playoff bound. Lion up, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. Oh, man. Like, I'm just going to tell you, like, And to think people got so excited about the week 1 victory over Clemson.
I did too.
Yeah.
I did too.
Because it was like it was like when Austin and I talked about it. It was like, oh, now you have to admit LSU's gonna win. It's like it's week 1, not week 11. Relax. We gotta see the rest of this LSU team. They can't win in Oxford. What happens? They don't win in Oxford. That they lost to Vandy. They get smacked in their own backyard by Texas A&M. They can't get it done against Bama. They almost lose to Arkansas. And now they have a 3-point win over Western Kentucky. That Oklahoma's going to smack them next week.
They probably are.
They're going to get out the belt and just take them out of the Long Branch and beat their butts with a belt. That's what's going to happen. That's what going to. They're going. Oh yeah, because that's what's going to happen.
I can see it, man. I mean, this has been an outright ish show from this LSU roster. It's almost
horse dung.
It is, man. It really is, and that's frustrating to see, and it's frustrating to really witness. I know we kind of blazing through the rest of these games, Jackson, because I mean most of the games that we saw today were pretty much blowouts and tune-up games getting ready for rivalry week next week. Other than what we saw today, I will say though, shout out Deuce Knight over at Auburn, pops off for almost 400 yards of total offense to go along with 6 total touchdowns. Hell of a game from him. Hell of an opportunity that he got in his first full start as Auburn's full-time starter. So the future is bright with him as your quarterback. I'll say that. Deuce Knight is a very, very good quarterback. You've seen the best and worst of Auburn's offense. I think you roll with Deuce Knight next week against Alabama. Do I expect him to have a good game? Probably not. But, hey, anything is possible.
Well, we know what's going to happen is Auburn's going to have the game of their life next week. And then they'll likely have the game of their life against Bama, but go close but no cigar once again. And then next year, once again, just smack Baylor off the face of the earth and then flats their win over Baylor. Because that's what Auburn's going to do. That's what they do best is flats and wins that they really should not be flexing over.
No, not really. I mean, the fact that you beat a team like Baylor that is on the cusp of being of not going to a bowl game this year with a quarterback like Sawyer Robertson. Sawyer Robertson wasted his last year at Baylor being with a guy like Dave Aranda, and for you to not even go to a bowl game this year. That's what's going to suck for a kid like that. Let's go on to our last topic of the afternoon, Jackson, because I know you got stuff to do and I got stuff to do. The Lane Kiffin Sweepstakes continues. Man. LSU offered him a $90 million annual contract. $25 million would be guaranteed to roster expansion. What were your overall thoughts on this?
It makes me think they got enough money for this, but not enough money for a buyout for Brian Kelly. Like, good grief.
Jackson, LSU is broke. How can they possibly afford this?
Right?
They're paying 2 buyouts right now. First Brian Kelly's, or first Ed Orgeron's, and now BK.
Oh yeah. They're getting a payday loan from the taxpayers, obviously. So that's why.
It has to be realistically smart about this and know that he is going into a very sticky situation where this is currently happening. In my opinion, you shouldn't even be taking this deal.
No.
Nonetheless, negotiating it and spending your bye week negotiating things with Florida and with LSU. If this is where your focus is at right now in the bye, What happens this week?
It's a good question. Because we'll definitely find out on Black Friday between the Ole Miss Rebels and the Mississippi State Bulldogs.
And I know I read the memo from the athletic director over at Ole Miss, Keith Carter. And I mentioned this yesterday. Keith Carter is a big reason why Ole Miss has Lane Kiffin and why they have the resources to be a CFP contender. So, in my opinion, why they're discussing this right now, it's beyond me. It shouldn't even be a topic of discussion.
Oh, yeah.
So, it almost makes me feel like that they're not bought in, and they will never be bought in when it comes to this weekend. That concerns me, but it's Mississippi State. So you better be bought in, and people better know about what the Egg Bowl is going to bring. Because if you're not, it's going to be a long, long night and a long freaking off season for you. So we'll see, man. Guys, that's going to wrap it up for us here tonight today on Final Whistle. Thank you guys so much for hopping on in. Lucas Hill, my co-host, Jackson Johnson, always a pleasure to talk with you, my friend. Have fun getting your hair cut. You deserve it. Get that thing nice and pretty for us. Follow Jackson on Twitter at JacksonVOCFB. Follow me on Twitter at LucasHillSEC. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hopping on in. Thank you always for subscribing. Hit the bell notification so that you are notified every time we go live here. Thank you to our friends at Underdog Fantasy for helping be a proud partner here at the Voice of College Football. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-GAMBLER. Use promo code BOCFBSEC to get a $50 bonus bet when you play your first $5 lineup. We'll see y'all soon. Y'all have a great rest of the
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.